Good morning. Welcome to our math class. I'm so happy to see you guys join on time. Today's Monday, October the 22nd. Link to Nearpods in the chat. Let's join using your first names only. Agenda and reminders. These are the five modules that have been assigned to you for this week with 2 graded quizzes. I will go over 6.04 tomorrow after fifth period if you need help. I'll go over 6.07 on Friday at 12:30. If you need help, please make sure to join. Lesson target. In this lesson, you will learn to make predictions from scatter plots using trend lines. We will also see if we can construct and describe scatter plots. Let's get started. First activity is your favorite activity. Make sure you're in Nearpod so you can participate in Time to Climb. We will choose a character and join game. Here I will select join game. And I start the game now. Question 1. You will refer to this image for all the Time to Climb questions. How many approximate games are predicted to be won with 1 hour of practice per week? 1 hour of practice per week. Very thoughtful answers. I see you guys are not missing the question. Time is up. Mostly everybody who answered correctly. Question 2. How many approximate hours of practice are needed to win 10 games? How many approximate hours of practice are needed to win 10 games? Seems like the class showed a little struggle on this question. The movement in this one was slower than the previous question. Final question. Which is the best prediction of the number of games a baseball team won if the team practiced 3 hours each week? The only person who got it right is Anderson. Anderson, you are the only one who got number 3 one right. Here we are. Congratulations. Well done, Amy, Safa, Anderson, followed by Jesus, Eleanor, and Zayla. Let's go ahead and look at the question carefully. Now that we are not going to be as tightly timed, here is where the time to climb problem was coming from. Your time to think, reread, think, show me your strategy, and select an answer for 3-minute timer starts now. Notice you want to tell me the best prediction of the number of games a baseball team won if the team practiced 3 hours each week. 3 hours is right over here. Jesus, I agree to you. Davy, I agree to you. Royal, yes, very good. Eleanor, I agree to you. Brianna, heading in the right direction. Let me see, Alyssa, what is going to be your prediction? You want to create a trend line and try to figure it out. Brianna, wonderful. So far, everybody who has answered very precisely. As you create a trend line, ignore the high points and the very low points and try to go through the middle. Safa, very good. No problem, Hope. You missed time to climb, but this is the question we were looking at. Time to climb. Time to climb still allows 1 minute more. Dianis, yes, absolutely. This is how the class has answered. Alyssa took think time, and Alyssa's estimate is 13 games. Went up, but when it says 3 hours, went up. Felt more like 13 hours to Alyssa. Oh, I went to the next slide. I didn't mean to go do that, but I wanted to look at more responses. This is Amy's trend line. Amy's trend line did not pass through high points or the lower points. It's trying to pass through the middle and give the best average. Found answer choice H to be the best suited answer for 3 games. Brianna's trend line is ignoring the lower points, trying to go to the middle. Thinks 13 games seems to be a good estimate. Davies, trend line is here, right in the middle of the most points that it can go through. 13 games seems to be a nice, good average. This is DNE's. Without a trend line, DNE's looked at the points around, not considering the high point or the real low point, but in the right middle. So for 3 hours, DNE says around 13 games. These are all the different ways your class is thinking. Eleanor has a trend line, and for 3 goes up to 13. That's prediction. Remember, trend line needs to not pass through lower points or the high points. Best trend line is one that will pass through the middle of the high and the low points. Hope's trend line is here. Hope joined class just now. Hope is thinking which answer might be the right one. Kyler, I will share the link again and we can try it. Jesus without a trend line answered. Royal without a trend line answered. This is Safa's trend line. Look carefully, class. How Safa's trend line is not hitting the lower points, is not hitting the higher points. See? It is passing right from the middle of the high and the low points. Gives her the best estimate of 13 games. Right? Are there any questions? Does anybody want to hop on the mic and talk about their answer before we move on? Do you guys want to add to that? let us know. If you still have questions, if you still did not understand, we are here to help. Kyler, here's the link. Please join again. Hopefully it will work. Nearpod normally works pretty good when it is refreshed. If you guys tell me that there are actually no questions, I will believe it. I will move on to my next activity. Next activity is going to be a discussion activity, and I've provided you with the 4 graphs that you see on the screen. And based on my scenario, you will choose the best suited graph. See, Kyler, my picture doesn't show. I refresh my Nearpod. And the picture shows. The activity says it's time to collaborate. The activity is supposed to be 3 minutes long. And my scenario, my prompt reads, which graph best represents the relationship between the number of hours students spend studying their multiplication facts and the decrease in errors on their multiplication test? Not only telling the answer, you also have to explain how you know the graph you chose correctly represents the scenario. Keep in mind, scenario says the number of hours a student will spend studying multiplication facts and decrease in errors on the multiplication test. Let's get started. 3-minute timer for you to reread, think, and post starts now. The number of hours students spend studying multiplication facts and decrease in errors on the multiplication test. Davy made the first post. Davy, as the class is posting, do you want to hop on the mic and talk about your post? Davy says, graph D shows that as hours studied results in fewer math errors. Davy says mic is broken, but graph D shows increasing study hours and decreasing errors. Beautifully written, Davy. Hope says graph A shows the same thing but in a different way. Hope, hop on the mic and tell me, what did you notice in A?
Study time for the hours. As that number increases, so does the wait, no. The study, the more that the students study, it is showing that it has more errors.
Yes,
We're
and
looking at
that,
it.
yes,
So the more time they study, the more errors they got.
yes. Very good.
But it must have not been good.
So hope you're right. So A is actually telling you the other way around. And that very likely is not the true situation. Those of you who put in study hours, you know the more you are studying, the fewer errors you make on your quizzes and assessments, and the better your score looks like. This hits the 3-minute timer. The two people who contributed are Davy and Hope. If anybody's still typing, please make sure you post so we are aware. So far in the 3 minutes, Davy and Hope, you are the two people who have contributed. I allow you guys to send me an email, right? Let me know, Miss Syed, you guys allowed me to send me an email today so we can get something special from you. And I will respond back to you over an email. I will check your grade book and let you know where something special can be added. That will be something special. Hope and Davy. Make sure you avail the deal. And as I receive your emails, I will honor my commitment. Despite having a really tight schedule, I will ensure I respond back by today. In fact, we also have Amy. Amy says graph C shows that number of errors compared to studying time is very unorganized. Amy, hop on the mic. What did you see? Notice for C. Amy says the number of errors compared to studying time is very unorganized. No problem. You cannot speak on the mic at this time, and that's perfectly fine. And Davy responds, probably study habits need a bit of work. That is true. Very good. Amy, we add you to the list of people who can send me an email to avail something special. I will look into your gradebook and I will respond back and let you guys know what is the special thing that I can award you. That's within my powers, and I can award you looking at your gradebook for math. Here is our first practice problem. Notice the practice problem focuses on making predictions from scatter plots using trend lines. The scatter plot shows the height in centimeters. Let's color code. Height in centimeters. X-axis is height in centimeters. And the weight in kilograms. And the weight in kilograms of several students. Based on the scatter plot, which is the best prediction of the height in centimeters of a student with weight of 64 kilograms. And here are 4 suggested answers. Everybody get started, reread the problem, think about it, show me your work, and select the best answer. 3-minute timer starts now. So, Dianis, you're heading in the right direction. See which one is the best suited answer. Something that will be in the middle, Dianis, that probably you didn't select. Royal? Wonderfully answered. At this point, Royal, you are allowed to move on to problem 2 and think about that one. Your link to the self-paced is in the chat. Click and move on. Saf, I received your response. Let's see from more. Where are you guys heading? Amy, I received your response. Eleanor, I agree to you. I want you to look at practice problem 2. Move on, Eleanor. Davry. I agree to you. Move on to problem 2. Make sure that you have a trend line. Make sure you have a trend line that is not passing through high points and not low points. Notice that there are some points that are a little bit higher, and then there are other points that are a little bit lower. Ignore the little bit lower and the little bit higher points and try to create a trend line that lines between the high and the low points. So a nice trend line can give you a good prediction. Let's see how that may look like. Notice I try to not touch the high points and the low points and try to create a trend line that can present the best average line for the information. Start here and see suffer. Notice the lesson objective says trend line will help us make predictions, right? See if your trend line will agree to your answer. Zayla, let me see your trend line. Zayla, you have a beautiful trend line. I'm going to share Zayla's slide. Zayla, you know what? You got to teach me how you did that. This is Zayla's slide. This is Zayla's slide. Look at the trend line so beautifully passes through the middle of the high and the low point so that it can be the best picture of the scatter plot. Brianna, how did you like Zayla's trend line? Brianna, the mic is all yours. What do you see, notice, and wonder? Amy, yeah? See? Such an ideal one. Let's see and hear from Brianna. Zayla, you know what? Your classmates, including myself, want to learn from you how you did that. You are so technology savvy. You know how to use the tools in Nearpod and create such a precise one. Beautifully, beautifully sketched out. Does anybody in our class have any questions? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Or do you have any other feedback? This is the time to share. Make sure you give reactions. You see the wonderful work Zayla has posted and shared with us, right? Where are the reactions? Remember how much you value the reactions and make the contributors so happy and they keep contributing to a class. Jesus likes it. The first thumbs up coming from Jesus. The first comment coming from Amy. Class reactions, right? If there are no questions, is nobody wondering? Brianna loved it. Okay, nice, nice. Remember on the STAR test, you guys have a ruler and the ruler is spinning, moving, doing all the things that you want it to be doing. You can use the ruler as your straight edge to make those predictions and create those straight trend lines. Lines of best fit. Rulers will be really helpful. Let's go ahead on to the second practice question and see how we will be making predictions using our trend lines. The scatter plot shows, I'm going to color code the graph, shows the low temperature, that's x-axis, low temperature in Fahrenheit, and high temperature and high temperature each day for a 2-week period of time. So 2 weeks means probably they gave you 14 dots on the scatter plots. Based on the scatter plots, which is the best prediction of the high temperature in degrees Fahrenheit on a day when low temperature is 71 degrees Fahrenheit? This is the question that will guide me if you are ready to move on your own, or if you are going to be part of our thinking group and think together in the main group. Get started. This is where you can show me mastery and be on your own, move on at your pace, or be part of my thinking group where we think together, we make contributions, we give feedback to each other. Eleanor, you are really fast at answering. Not only fast, but very precise. I do want you to move on to practice question 3 at this time. Let me see, Jesus, your trend line. And then 71. Jesus, 71 for low doesn't take you to what you put in the answer. When the low temperature Jesus is 71, can you draw a line so you can read the y-axis value, Jesus? It doesn't. The answer you chose did not support your graph. Try again. The graph looks correct. Amy, you are ready to move on. Here you are, linked to the self-paced. Timer says 2 minutes and 30 seconds more. Alyssa. I agree to you, Alyssa. At this point, you're ready to move on to problem 3. Dianis, you are also ready to move on to problem 3. Zachary, you're ready to move on to problem 3. I agree to you. Safa is heading in the right direction. Brianna, when your number is 71, go up to the high temperatures. The answer you chose is not what the graph tells you, Brianna. When the low temperature is 71, put a mark and go up to the high temperature. You will be able to read it's not what you chose. You're not reading your own graph correctly. Let me see for Jesus. Jesus, you're not reading the graph correctly again. I wish I had a pen and I could write on your graph to show you what I wanted to really show you. Let's see. I'm going to share Safa's slide. So I can share what I repeatedly see that we're not reading the graph carefully. Safa, you are going to be my example person. You have always been, and you always show a lot of patience, and I love you for that, Safa. But again, I'm going to use your slide. Right, Safa? So this is Safa's really beautiful trend line. No, Safa, if you're going to feel that way, I'm going to move this slide. I'm going to use somebody else's graph. I like, Safa, I like your graph. Look at your trend line is so straight. Safa's trend line is so straight, passes through and represents the point so beautifully. Safa, look at 71. You go up and hit the line, trend line. You hit the trend line. And read the number on here, the Y. Y doesn't say 92, dear. Brianna, you notice that? Jesus, you notice that? Safa, 71, go up. Don't keep going up. Trend line will stop you from going up. Safa, can you clean up part of the extra you went up? So you can show the class as an example of what we're talking about. That's the common problem a lot of us did. Look at 71. No, you don't need this all. You don't suffer. You don't need. No. You don't even need all that. From 71, go up hit the trend line and stop there. And read the matching Y value. That's what we should be doing. But a lot of you guys went above and beyond the trend line to read numbers that were not being represented. Does that make sense? Let me see if I can give you more examples of what I mean to say. Zayla, look at Zayla's slide. Safa, Zayla has a trend line that looks like yours. Look, Zayla has a bold dot where trend line cuts 71. Brianna, Jesus, we want to hear from you. Does that make sense? Andromeda, I think I didn't see you in Nearpod, Andromeda. Right, Safa, that makes sense. Brianna, Jesus, I'm still waiting to hear from you. That was common error. It stops at 88. Look at Zayla's slide. And she chose 88. Because at 71, when she went up and hit the trend line tells her that the answer is 88. Yes, Andromeda. Okay, Jesus gave me a feedback. Right, Jesus? That makes sense? I really appreciate all those people who let me use their slides as examples. I really do. At this point, I'm going to give you a fresh question, a fresh thought for thinking, because Zayla's slide was pretty much answering, Safa's slide was pretty much answering the question, right? So I want to give you a fresh thinking so I can see if you understand it or not. Definitely for this one, 88 is where the striking point was, right? But let's look at a different one. Here we are. Yes, Jesus in the chat says it hit the trend line, so it stops there. Yes, absolutely, because trend line means it will tell you the trend and you have to follow it. Here the question reads, students recorded the total number of pages and chapters in each of several books on their scatter plots. Based on the scatter plot, which is the best prediction of the total number of pages in a book with 4 chapters? Now, I'm gonna turn the timer on. I'm gonna sit back quietly and watch how you guys are solving. Then I will give you individual feedback. Everybody get started. Let me see, you will use your trend line and you will make a prediction for number of pages in 4 chapters. Eleanor, Diani, so good. Amy, very good. Safa, that was so precise, Safa. Safa, you deserve a very special message. That's all up to you, Safa. But I allow you. Let me see for Hope. Excellent. Hope, you have shown me mastery. Safa, you have shown me mastery. Jesus, you have shown me mastery. That's all I wanted. Dianise, you have shown me mastery. Right? Absolutely, absolutely. Brianna, you have shown me mastery. Excellent. Amy, you have shown me mastery. Excellent. As I call out your name, make sure you are reading the chat message that I am sharing with you. Eleanor, you are at mastery. Absolutely, Jesus. That was just a little thing that I wanted to bring to your attention. You guys definitely are at mastery. Let me see, whom am I waiting for? I am waiting for Zachary and Zayla's response. Is that what I am waiting for? And let me see, Brandon, Caden, Zion, Emmanuel, Gabriel, Kyler. Kyler, the problem is here and you will tell me how you will approach it. Zach, I agree to you, dear. Very good, very good. Kyler, refer to my slide. And you have been totally inactive in the chat, Kyler. That shows me not only the Nearpod is not working, I'm gonna be thinking Kyler was not around because you're gonna give that thought to me, Kyler. So now look at this one and tell me how you will respond. Then I will know that you are not away from the screen and you were listening carefully, Kyler. The Nearpod isn't working. That means we have to put an extra effort in the chat to let the teacher know you are here. Andromeda, I want to hear from you, Andromeda. Same here. I'm going to think Andromeda away from the screen and not learning. Let me see. Brandon, Caden, Zion, Emmanuel, Gabriel, carry on. Marissa, I'm going to be thinking Marissa not in class. Class is on. Marissa is not there. Nicholas, Ryan B. That's my thought. If you want to disprove the thought, you're supposed to be actively here, so I know, yes, you were here. Sheehan, I did not see you were in class. Shiloh, Shiloh, proof that you were here in class by answering my exit ticket. Tony, Vicky, Xavier. Let me see, Kyler. I don't see your slide. If you're not in the slides, you will respond to me in the chat. Tell me which seems to be the best prediction. Andromeda's there in Nearpod. Let me see Andromeda's. You're thinking Brandon is here. Royal, you're going to show me your... Zayla. Zayla, you have shown me wonderful work. If you wish to send me an email to receive any kind of surprise from me, Zayla, I will go to your gradebook and let you know what kind of a special surprise I can award you for the kind of work you have done in this session, Zayla, right? Feel free to send me a message, but should happen today because it's fresh on my mind. Okay, let's see. People who have, I'm waiting for a response from Miss Andromeda, Royal. That's it. The rest of the class got the answer. Brandon, Emmanuel, Tony. I am waiting to hear from you, Kyler. Alyssa is here. But Alyssa, I know you showed me mastery already. Now carry on. Carry on. Very good, carry on. Absolutely right. Very good, dear. Let me see what Brandon will tell me. Kyler is thinking. Kyler not only here, but thinking. In this question, they are asking you for four chapters. We don't know how much to go. We don't know. But notice, 8 chapters is given to you. And can you make a connection with 8 chapters? When there are 8 chapters, it has approximately 240 pages. 8 chapters have approximately 240 pages. Can you tell me then how many pages there could be in 4 chapters? Right, Brandon? Andromeda? If in 8 chapters there is 240 pages, approximately how many pages do we think there could be in 4? Brandon? Brandon, if you say 240 or 140, you're telling me then in 8 chapters there is 280. But in 8 chapters it's not 280. It is 240. In order to find for 4 chapters, you can just find half of 240. Notice the half of 240 is going to be your 120. So 120 will seem to be the best estimate, keeping in view 8 chapters is 240. Andromeda, that makes sense? The trend lines gives you some good values to make predictions. We'll end the session here. Everybody, make sure to join period 5 on time. We'll see each other tomorrow with more practice.